Hello and welcome, guys. Another live. Here we go. We're streaming across all platforms, making sure that we are all good to go. There we go. So, another evening, another Cybersecurity Q&A live. Hopefully. Welcome, guys. Hey. Hey. There we go. We got some guys coming in. Sorry, guys, a bit late. As always, last minute, TikTok Studio decided that it needs to run an update. So a couple of minutes late there for that. But we're going to spend about an hour hopefully answering all of the questions and chatting all things cybersecurity, guys. So buckle up and drop any questions, guys, if you got. We're going to spend some time chatting. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Those of you who are new, I guess just a pre-sample. I'll answer that question in a second, Elsha. So I've been in cybersecurity for over 10 years. Been and done pretty much every single cybersecurity job there is. I was very intentional the way I was building my cybersecurity career. So went from SOC to cloud security engineering to pen testing in AppSec. And last 3 years I've been a CISO. I've been in cybersecurity leadership. So I think there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of lies about how and what's needed to break into cybersecurity. So can't always answer my DMs and comments. So lives are here essentially, guys, to answer some of your questions, guys. So let's buckle up and let's spend the next hour or so trying to answer all of your questions, guys. So Alsha says, hello, is there a hiring agency you recommend for a remote help desk position? I would say there are help desk specifically. I wouldn't know specifically help desk. I'm more working towards cybersecurity, but I'm sure some of them, there are bigger agencies that cover all of that. Let me see if I can actually find some names. Because I know one bigger agency that cover kind of loads of things. So bear with me. I'll find because I know one friend who works. What's his name? Security recruitment. I'll let you know in a second. Let me just figure it out. There you go. I think I remembered. There we go. He works at Investigo. Have a look at Investigo. That's the agency. I know that they hire all kinds of positions, so they potentially have help desk as well. With this, Dixon says, hello, my name is Adam. I'm pretty young, and my question is, how do I get to cybersecurity? Adam, the most important thing is learning the basics. So learning operating systems, hardware fundamentals. So you don't necessarily need the cert, but you need to learn the material from A+. You need to learn the material from Network Plus. And then, if you do one cert, I think the gold standard kind of cert to do is do Security Plus. And then it's all about home labs, stuff like Try Hack Me, build your own home lab. I just dropped a video today on YouTube, how to install Kali Linux using virtual box. So these are the kind of things that you need to practice in terms of skills. Have a look at I also dropped a video today just explaining, about skills and knowledge. If you mean getting to talk to people in that space, it's LinkedIn. Go on a search bar, type in help desk and type in people. That's the best way. Just get to talk to people who are already in help desk and learn from them. what's the best way to prepare a company for a cyber incident? The best way is do tabletop exercises and then do the actual cybersecurity incident response planning. So make sure you have a plan nailed on. Make sure you understand, what happens if you can't reach that plan. Do you have copies of the plan that could be reached offline? Making sure that all the people understand their roles in the cyber incident response plan. Do you have cyber forensics? Do you have incident responders in your team? If you don't, you can find people on the retainers who can, you can call at the, any time of the hour that you can invoke during the incident. How to learn cybersecurity from scratch? Depends what you want to learn, Saska. There is no thing learning cybersecurity from scratch. There is learning and applying for specific roles and knowledge. You can't learn everything about cybersecurity. I'll pass some more info to NCSC for some guys who's been trying to do credential harvesting. Good stuff, Sam. Looks like you're doing some great work in that space. Santa says, I've just got my AAS in cybersecurity this November. Can't find a job yet. Where can I go? As I always say, guys, getting degree or getting some certificate is never going to guarantee you getting a cyber job. Do you have the skills necessary to find a cybersecurity job? That's the most important thing. Certs, degrees does not guarantee you a job. Knowledge and skills and being able to do what cybersecurity people do, that's the most important thing. So you need to assess what skills you got, where are the gaps, and then plug those gaps with the knowledge labs and stuff like that. Just took my CYSA, felt confident, but got a 715. Best advice when to retake it. I always say, whether it's CYSA plus, whether it's Security Plus, the MD Brit. For me, the best practice exams were Jason Dion ones. So you can jump on Udemy. The practice exams like $13. So I gauge myself and preparedness for taking a proper exam is if I consistently can get between over 80 or over 85% on those practice exams, because they're pretty close to the real deal, then I book the real deal. So that's how I would gauge my preparation. No, my projects are not available on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is all about cybersecurity leadership. I only guys give you advice in the beginning of the career on TikTok. There's some stuff on YouTube, but LinkedIn is all about cybersecurity leadership, and I'm talk a lot about leadership. So I don't really talk about entry level stuff on LinkedIn. Happy New Year, Alberto. Yes, indeed. It's going to be 2026. It's going to be an exciting year. There's a lot of exciting stuff. I keep talking about personal brand. Building a personal brand is the most important thing that you guys are going to do in cybersecurity. And I'm a perfect example. There's, I've been talking a bit about this, but even in January, I've got CSO Magazine is writing an article based on my viral post. I'm being interviewed for books. I'm going to speak on cybersecurity stage in Athens next week. I'm building a cybersecurity leadership course. I'm getting board advisory positions from LinkedIn just from my continuous interaction on LinkedIn. And it says, what job should I look for in entry level in cybersecurity? SOC analyst. Hey Zizov, hey, hello, be happy. Eventually I want to get into cybersecurity, but I hear starting from bottom from help desk. Yeah, definitely, help desk is a great place to start because you're going to learn so many important fundamentals in cybersecurity career. So, starting an IT help desk is a great way to build and start your journey. Zizov says, I'm currently test engineer thinking to do bachelor's in cybersecurity. What do you think? I think, Zizov, you're wasting your time doing a degree. I always say, degree takes 3 years to do. You can do some courses, build some skills, and land your cybersecurity job in, being realistic, 9 to 12 months. So you cut this journey by 2 years. And degree does not guarantee you a job anyway. You can do it if you want, but I always say, do it further down in your career. Is best route, do you agree? Yeah, I think so. If we're talking still about help desk, then yeah. How hard is CompTIA Plus certification? It's not hard at all. If you prepare and do practice exam, watch all the videos, learn all the material. Security Plus, it's pretty easy to pass. Do you think cybersecurity will be replaced by AI? No, I think this is all just hype that you guys hear on the media, on the news. AI is nowhere near close to being replaced in cybersecurity. It's a helpful tool, but anyone who's thinking that AI is going to replace people is nonsense. Does Geek Squad count as good experience? Yeah, of course. Anything where you get to touch and learn, as I say, help desk is a good experience. Anything you learn about computers, fundamental knowledge is always going to be, good starting point. All of that is going to be helpful in your career, in your journey. So yeah, of course. Can you do only try hack me or hack the box or let's defend to get a job without certs? Dark Knight, I don't think try hack me you can do only that, but you can definitely do home labs and learn enough in addition to try hack me, and definitely you can land the job without certs. There's plenty of people, and I know plenty of people who land the jobs without any certifications. Certifications, all they do is prove that you can learn the theory and you can answer multiple choice questions. That's not, skills are the most important. I always, I build cybersecurity teams and hired plenty of people, and I always hire based on skills than what certs you got. I was going to study cybersecurity at uni, however, I chose to do computer science instead. Good. Well, if degree was your choice, then, it doesn't matter what you do, cybersecurity or computer science. You have to remember, again, most of the degree programs is going to teach you a theory. So it doesn't matter which one you do. What do you prefer? Just choose the route you want. But, the degree is not going to guarantee you to get a job. Elias, what do you think about future of GRC? I think the future of GRC is really bright. GRC is never going to go away because compliance requirements is always going to be needed. Is always going to need to assess and test your cyber program. So GRC is a perfect route to go to cybersecurity, and it's never going to go anywhere. Baby says, I've learned cybersec fundamentals in an academy and I'm interested pen testing. Can I learn on YouTube? You can definitely learn, baby, but I'm going to say pen testing is not an entry-level role. If you go from zero into pen testing, you have almost impossible chance of landing a pen testing job. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a perfect route, D. Help desk to learn fundamentals, learn networking, then learning security fundamentals, and then building the necessary skills to land your first cybersecurity job. Yeah, absolutely. How would be started cybersecurity? What do you recommend someone from zero knowledge? A+, network plus, security plus. How long should I study for sec plus before test? I would say 2 months is more than enough. Average Savage. Yeah. Dark Knight, do you think doing hack the box only can get you a job? It can, but I say, Dark Knight, home labs is an important part where you can't neglect it. So it potentially can, but it's going to be a lot harder. I'm using Cube's OS as my main OS after coming across cybersecurity 2 years ago. Cool, good stuff. Doing bachelor's in systems engineering and master's in cybersecurity, what position is best route? There is no best route, Turi. The best route is the one that you're going to love the most. There is no best. I can't advise on any best route. You have to pick what aligns to your skills, knowledge, and stuff like that. Did you try No, I haven't tried bug bounty. I think Active Directory networking is probably the most important takeaway from IT to cyber. Yeah, potentially, Jack. But although Active Directory is kind of slowly going away in a cloud world, but yeah, it's an important skill to learn. But networking, yeah, networking is the most important thing. Hello, how do I get access to the CISO WhatsApp groups? Get to meet CISOs, get to into events, interact, network. I know I've said that many times. My LinkedIn is over 18K of people and followers. So yeah, that's the way. Hi Talal. But without certification, is it hard to get a job? Do you agree? It's hard. Even with certification, it's hard to get a job. How did you build on your skills deals? Same way as anyone else. I built my home labs. I did try hack me. I created, OpenVARs, did vulnerability management. I built Kali Linux and did various attacks. Then investigated those attacks via Wireshark, via Wazoo. Yeah, that's how I built those skills. Hey, Naz, yeah, no problem. Better late, as you say, better late than never. I'm not currently hiring Stembele, not currently. What's the best way to break in? To build the necessary skills, Mads. Instead of learning from Terhackme, do you have other way you would recommend to get into cyber? Yeah, build your own home labs, Liebe. That's the most important thing. Home labs, learning the necessary tools and skills. Favorite graciously, top 3 courses for SOC analyst and pentester. Pentester, obviously, there's only 2 golden courses. It's between OSCP and PNPT. For SOC, Security Plus, Microsoft SC200, and then there is now Terhackme does the courses, but I really love the Blue Team Labs level 1. Anything on vulnerability assessment? Not sure what you want to know, bruh. You want to learn vulnerability assessment, open source tools like OpenVARs is a great, again, setup on your home labs. You can scan and download ISOs of vulnerable machines, and then, scan, assess those machines in the network. Naz, do you think it's easy to get entry level in SOC analyst? No. None of the roles to get anywhere in cybersecurity is easy. But if you're going to build a home lab, if you're going to build the necessary skills and stop chasing certs, it's definitely going to be possible. There is no best entry-level jobs, but I guess the ones that you can do is SOC analyst, anything to do with IT, help desk, system operations, GRC, there are some roles. So what's next after fundamentals? After fundamentals is about building skills. Hey, Cyber Chris. I'm beginner at cybersecurity. I'm planning to study CCNA for more deep understanding in network. Good stuff, Stanley. How much should I spend on home labs if limited money? You don't need to spend anything on home labs, guys. Home labs, all you need is a laptop with about 16 gigs of RAM, and that's it. All you need to do then, download VirtualBox, download the necessary ISOs, and that's it. Hey, Sham. Would you recommend JP Morgan or Amazon for a CISO job? Potentially, but, I think, these jobs are obviously very hard to come by, and there's very hard to land in there. But, obviously you can make a shit ton of money in JP Morgan or Amazon. But then again, really big organizations, I guess, there's upsides and downsides. Obviously, it's going to be very stressful. They're going to expect you to be available 24/7. But I guess the money is going to, compensate for it. Hey, Sham. Hello. Would you recommend? I think we answered this. Yes, I am watching YouTube comments, guys, and as I said, I answered the question that what's the best YouTube channels for foundation cybersecurity? Network Chuck, Professor Messer, John Hammond, and I think that's kind of the main ones, but Professor Messer and Network Chuck are the most important ones to starting. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're gonna still got quite a bit of time, so we'll see where we can continue chatting. If you got any questions on YouTube as well, guys, drop the questions. I'm trying to keep up with all of the streams, so yeah, I'm watching. It was a flurry of comments, and now all of a sudden everyone became quiet. The best book to understand hackers' mindset. Ghost and Wires is a great book. Any of the Kevin Mitnick books is really good about anything to do with hackers. Right now, I'm 40 years old, and because of limited time, can I use experience from a company that closed down? Yeah, of course. I just dropped a video the other day, guys. Anytime you are transitioning from one career to another, any experience that you previously had is an advantage and benefit to you. You can, as long as you are aware how to translate skills that you learned previously, and how does that translate into cybersecurity, there's never a drawback, but it's always going to be a benefit to you guys. So anything you've done, you've been a teacher, that means you can explain a complex concepts to everyone. Whatever you've done sales, you understand how to influence and negotiate to people, how to work under pressure. Whatever you've done in a previous career, there's always going to be a skill that you can take forward into cybersecurity. Chris, just realized we both have been in fintech on security. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good to find people in the same route in fintech. Fintech is an exciting space, but it's absolutely blowing up in all over across the world. How can I transition into OT security? Well, that's a bit of a difficult one, I guess. You first of all, you need to understand how OT works. Learn OT security tools like Dragos. There's a few other ones, Armis. Learn what are the common security problems that OT companies face. See you around, Alberto. I didn't work for the company just to add 10 years to my resume experience because HR can't. Oh. Well, no, that's completely wrong. If you're trying to lie on your CV and then show 10 years experience on a company that you never worked, in cybersecurity, your integrity is the most important value. Once you start lying, that's completely wrong. The same as people who pay money for others to pass certificates. That's completely wrong. Oh yeah, I know. My company as well is trying to run towards AI. So yeah, open banking and agentic AI is going to bring a lot of spanners in the works in a near distance. Yeah, exactly. Chris, integrity is the most important thing that you live by in cybersecurity. If you're thinking about doing anything shady, one way or another, it's going to come back to bite you in your ass, and your career can be very quickly over. So never think about these kind of stuff. We had a ton of people and everyone seemed to run away. We got quite a few still left. So keep the questions coming. We're going to chat for another half an hour or so. All things cybersecurity. Okay, good stuff. I think I've done AWS Solution Architect many moons ago. It's a good cert to have. Are you guys? I assume that you guys using AWS. That's why you're going down the AWS route, CyberChris. Because I've done a few AWS certs, but obviously, predominantly, I've been working in Azure for the last 5 years or so. So I've done a lot of stuff on Azure side. But yeah, solutions architect. Obviously, any kind of skills like that can open so many doors and experience. Tell us about your career journey. Yeah, sure. I think I mentioned earlier, but some of you guys probably joined later. So I've been in cybersecurity for 10 years. Same as you, and that's why I kind of keep talking about the same thing. I built my self-learning plan over 10 years ago. I spent 8 months doing, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, and I think I did one Azure cert. I networked like crazy. I posted on LinkedIn everything I was learning and studying and sharing with people, and then went to present on MITRE ATT&ck, essentially on a webinar, and that's how I got my first job. So I worked in a SOC. I then moved into managing. See you later, Chris. managing SOCs, architecting SOCs. I wrote my master's dissertation about how to build a SOC. Then I moved into cloud security engineering and architecture. I moved into AppSec, built AppSec frameworks, did pen testing strategies. So I kind of pivoted across pretty much every single role in cybersecurity until 3 years ago. I stepped into a leadership, so been a CISO ever since. So that's my kind of short cybersecurity career journey. Good stuff, Cyber Chris. He's going to start. Chris, yeah, please. I've been trying to build my own practice lab, but finding it a bit challenging. Which YouTube channel? Check my YouTube channel. I've got obviously explanation how to build your SOC home lab. I even dropped a video today how to install Kali Linux on VirtualBox. But yeah, there's plenty of channels. You just need to Google and have a look. There's also, sir, which domain is the best in cybersecurity? SOC pen tester, though I get internships as pen tester. I'm a computer engineer, but don't have the experience. SOC, I think SOC is the best. So please make videos on AI security if possible. I already made videos on AI security. You just need to have a look. Just check and make sure there's no other comments on other channels. Do you know about Cyber AB CCMC for defense? I don't know specifically Cyber MB, but there's a lot of CCMCs, capability maturity matrix to assess your cyber program against, because there is a CCMC for ISO 27001. There is one for, I think, NIST CSF. So yeah, it's not necessarily, I would say, lucrative, but it's a good skill to know. Okay, yeah, good stuff to know. Yeah. So Elsha says, not sure if you know, but most of the public library offer Udemy for free. If somebody is interesting. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, obviously, how the library offer, though. You probably have to spend time in the library. So sometimes probably for the ease of benefit, because when I was studying 10 years ago or so, I had Jason Dion courses and I used to watch them on an iPad, so I could watch them anywhere on the go, whether I was on a train or whatever. So, if, $13 for a course is not expensive, but yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, you get a library code. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so it's a great tip for anyone who's, want to get, you just need to get a library code and you can get to Udemy for free. I'm afraid I'm not currently hiring, so I can't take you in my team now. Oh, by the way, those of you guys who are not aware, again, we started building out Telegram community for people, and again, to study together, to learn, to share ideas. I think we got 33 members. So I even dropped a video, I think, yesterday, I think. So you guys, if you want to sign up and join, just check out some of the videos. There is a link to Telegram community. Again, just to, study and learn together with like-minded people. So yeah, check out the videos. I don't remember which video, but just have a look at the last couple of videos and you can find it. Do you have any mentorship program for someone going into SOC analyst? No, I don't really do mentorship. I don't really have time for that, Naz. I'm afraid, I only do a couple of these lives just to kind of answer some of the questions, but mentorship, requires way too much time for me to do that. And even though, I work full time, I got my own business and I got so many other stuff going on that I don't really have time to do that. Dude says, I'm 17 and I want to get into cybersecurity. So I'm planning to take Network Plus certificate by next month. Is a good starting point. Yes, dude. The only thing I would say is if you're good with computers and understand operating systems, hardware, you don't necessarily need to do a course, but I would say learn the material from 8+ before you do Network Plus, and then do Security Plus. Good stuff. Keep the questions coming, guys. We got another half an hour or so to chat, to interact, spend some time together, and hopefully clarifying the path into cybersecurity. I think especially the video that I've mentioned today, you have to guys understand one really important point. Stop chasing and thinking that, certificates is going to unlock you the door. You probably need only one certificate to kind of cover the HR and ATS system requirements. Stuff like, Security Plus, the marketing and stuff around social media and people who are telling you to do all of these courses. Chances are that they are getting paid to say that. It's all about skills. It's all about being able to use the tool, being able to investigate incidents, being able to understand how cybersecurity works. There's no certificate that guarantees you the job. It's not about oh, you need to have 5 certs, or if you get the 6th one, you're definitely going to get a job. No, that's not going to happen. So stop chasing and putting money in those certification bodies. It's all about skills. In your beginning, I must preface that. That's why I said in my video, get Security Plus, build skills, and then land the job. Once you are in the job and you want to do some better and expensive certs, your employers will pay for those certs. That's why you have the job. You're going to build your skills for the employee. So, don't chase these, certs. Get a couple, the ones that or one Security Plus, and then land the job. Get the necessary skills, and then get employers to pay for your certs. That's the way forward. Let me know if you got any more questions, guys. Keep them coming. Yeah, no problem, Mahes. Yes, dude. It's quite hard to get a job in cybersecurity, but it's all about, what you put in. That's what you're going to get out of it. So the more work you're going to put in, the more skills, the more knowledge you're going to build, the easier it's going to become. But you have to do a couple of important things I always say in cybersecurity. You have to build a personal brand. You have to interact with people, build a network and stuff like that. That's how it's going to make it easier for you, dude. Shula says, can you tell me how much RAM does a sec onion need? I kind of have a little trouble with it. I would say, or it depends how much you got spare to play with in total. I say normally that, Kali probably needs about 4 gigabytes, I would say. You probably need around 8. Yeah, so you can play around. I would say do this. So if you got 16 gigs on your laptop, obviously you need to some left for Windows underneath to run it. But I would say get if you got 3 machines, get 4 to Kali, get 8 to give 8 to Onion, and then give 1 or 2 to the Windows virtual machine. That should kind of cover it. I know obviously RAM is kind of expensive because if you can upgrade to 32, you can play around a bit more with it, but it should more than cover it. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was kind of lucky because I was, I'm next to me, I'm building my sim rig. So I'm going to do some, virtual racing. So when I built my laptop, I think it was August or September last year, I actually bought 64 gigabytes of RAM. So I'm lucky that, I'm not gonna run out of it very soon, because now when you see, RAM cost, your eyes water. So I think that was a smart move back then. Well, any experience you're going to have, Magus, you're going to have obviously a better salary. Experience and skills builds better salary. So yeah, of course. Actually, I was looking around yesterday, Shula, to have a look. I don't know if whether this, you probably need to have a look a bit and do a bit of research, but um, I saw there was 32 gigs of RAM on TikTok Shop for like 100 quid, and I was like, what? If you worked as a pen tester, what tools did you use? What the main tools are is that was many moons ago, but it's stuff between um, John the Ripper, Hashcat, Hydra, Metasploit, Burp Suite, Durbuster. What else was there? We played around a bit with Aircrack and G. What else was there? That's kind of the main ones. There is no best project, Mahis. Every project is a good skill to learn. So it all, the best project is relevant based on the role that you want to do. So that's all dependent. Oh yeah, Nmap, yeah, exactly. Nmap, GoBuster, yeah, is the ones to go. Metasploit, yeah, yeah, that's good stuff. Sometimes Hashcat, I think, is sometimes better tool than John the Ripper. So something to have a look at as well, because I think it's better use in the way better run all of the the cracking stuff. So yeah, that's a good basic stuff to do, especially with Burp for web apps. And Metasploit has a ton of different attack packages that you can play around with. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wireshark is a good, but Wireshark is not necessarily a kind of a pen testing tool. It's sort of it's just looking at networking attacks and understanding what's happening at the network layer. Yes, indeed. Yeah, of course, as you say, but still, it's always going to be a relevant experience and a relevant knowledge that's going to help you. The more you understand, not only from tool perspective, but how attacks look like from networking layers. Because I always say, when you build a SOC lab, there's you can look at attacks in a couple of ways and you can dissect them. You can look at you can run attack with Kali, and then you can look how it looks like from Wireshark point of view. You can look on Wazoo how it looks from end point of view. And then you can again look at those attacks on Seam and being able to detect those attacks, building analytic rules, learning how Wazoo from endpoint perspective how these attacks can be stopped. It's always going to be a great knowledge, great skill to add in your arsenal, in the future careers. Because most of these tools anyway, you're gonna depending on your career route, you're gonna play with them. Would you think of OPSEC, or how should I learn it? What do you mean by OPSEC? Do you mean AppSec or Or do you mean OT-sec? Because what do you mean by OPSEC? Because SOC is OPSEC. Yeah, but what specifically do you mean? Because security operations, as we call them, is anything to do with defensive kind of side of security. So there needs a bit more specific here, Julia. What do you mean by operation security? Because any field. I mean, like, how do like offensive side stays hidden? Yeah, but that's not necessarily operation security. That's evasion techniques you would use as an offensive security person. So there's various evasion techniques. So all of that can be learned in. Okay, yeah, exactly. So learn MITRE ATT&CK. But MITRE ATT&CK is all about when you look at the MITRE ATT&CK framework, there is a specific row for all of the evasion techniques that attackers would use. And then you can look at the tool sets. MITRE ATT&CK is amazing. So Google MITRE Navigator and then explore the latest navigator. I did a lot of research into that and actually used MITRE ATT&CK to build, to write my master's, for the SOC. Again, you can use and explore and see what evasion tactics and techniques different APT groups are using. What tools are you using? You can learn a lot from there. So yeah, MITRE is the best choice and tool for that. What do you think is the most important phase of red team operation? Well, I think initial, entry point is the most important because once you're in, then it's about, I don't know, there's all of them, I think, important because getting in is important. Being able to escalate privileges is important. Being able to pivot in the network is important. So, they all kind of add to it to be able to deliver your goal, essentially. So, I don't know. It could be entry, it could be escalation of privileges, because obviously without escalation, again, you can't achieve your goals. Dawn Star says, for Security Plus, which training material do you recommend? I used it myself and I love Jason Dion's stuff. So, Udemy, find Jason Dion Security Plus course. He also has practice exams. So I think each of them is $13. So you get 6 practice exams. They're amazing and they're pretty close to the real deal. So both of the material are great, I think. I don't think recon is that important because nowadays, especially, it depends which threat actors you look at. So I've been talking a lot about AP teens. So is the new groups like Scattered Spider and stuff like that, whereas they are made of young teens from Canada, US, and UK. So the way they operate is they buy loads of credentials from various info stealers. Doesn't matter even if credentials are old. But what they'll do is they use AI, a voice changer, to present themselves being as a 18-year-old girl, and they will call the help desk to reset the password. And voila, they are in. Because obviously, people in the help desk want to be helpful. So the chances are, if not one person, someone else is going to help them and it's going to work. So that's the entry point. And then it's all about, pivoting through the network, getting admin credentials and then dropping in ransomware. Yeah, that's the way now kind of people operate. Because if you think the old school hackers, like the Russians, the Chinese, they would never attack their own countries. But these APT teens, they don't care. They attack UK, they attack US, and because they are English speakers, they can use the language to use the help desk stuff. Plus, I'm interested to study cybersecurity security. I tried to take CCNA and I really struggled with calculating IP and MAC addresses. Yeah, that's a new one, Nazia. Is there a calculator to do it? Yeah. You just Google Sec Plus. There is a way to understand subnetting and stuff like that. Tell us what you were doing today at work, just roughly. Yeah, sure. So today, couple of things. So Linguisi, I'm building a data loss prevention program. So I had a couple of demos with data loss prevention providers and companies just to understand how their tool works, because I need data loss prevention for endpoints. So I need the ability to deploy agent on endpoints. I needed it to work for a browser to prevent staff members to inputting confidential and PII data into AI. And I also need to prevent data loss from our cloud databases. So a couple of meetings with that. We had a whole business tech meeting about any blockers that any tech teams have. We also had a meeting SDR, so software development lifecycle. We're looking at the new projects and initiatives that software developers are working on. Project Data Loss Prevention. That's the project. I had a podcast recording with some guys that I offered to help. I also had a couple of meetings around some of the new providers that we're looking to onboard. So I was helping to assess their security controls and evaluate whether they do enough security to make sure before we buy their tools. And that was kind of it. That's kind of my main part of the day. I had a catch up with a couple of my team members just to help and see what they were doing, what help they needed, So yeah, that was kind of the thing. Is there any way to prevent or detect if someone is using AI voice? Yes, there are companies, there are people building tools to be able to detect and use signatures in a sort of AI voice. I'm going to try to do it on my own if I can. Cool, good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, there are now tools and there are companies building browsers, especially, for example, they can detect AI in a browser, deep fakes. That's becoming a big thing. So, there are organizations who's going to start, looking at that and investing, prevention from deep fakes, from AI voices, from, all of the stuff that comes with new AI risks and dangers that are kind of incoming to us security professionals. So, yeah. And there are obviously, for example, I helped a couple of companies, I did a lot of help. I even went to Croatia to open their office. So there are a lot of, companies building tools to assess your own AI development. So, they plug into pipelines to scan your AI, prevent bias, hallucination, making sure that they are, the AI is built securely and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work. Do you used any coding languages? Well, it depends how you define what is a coding language, because is Bash a coding language? Yeah, I used Bash. I used PowerShell. Back in the day. Obviously, I learned Terraform, infrastructure as code languages. I learned what was for Sentinel. They use their own language as well in cloud. Yeah, I played around with Python for a little while when I was doing some of the pen testing stuff to automate things, to build a bit of tools. South Africa is 22:28. UK time is 8:28 now, Lungusi. So we are essentially 2 hours. You are 2 hours ahead of us. Where are you, Shulia, that you are past midnight already? My working hours is 9 to 5. Oh, okay, cool. Georgia. I bet you are. How is the weather in Georgia? Is it warmer than here in UK? UK is warm. We got 9 degrees now. You get snow in Georgia? Because I know back home in Lithuania, well, I'm originally from Lithuania, so it's proper cold. It's like minus 15, minus 20, and ton of snow. So, I mean, UK is a bit better, but during Christmas I went to Spain to run away for a bit. So, mum's lives in Spain, so it's about 18, 20 degrees. So, you know, way warmer. Cold as hell, yeah. And so, okay, fair enough. Yeah, probably you get some places where it's probably up higher. As a SOC analyst, do you work fully hybrid in UK? It depends, Naz, where you work. So if you're working, there are various ways. I think some companies are trying to get people back in the office, and do some kind of hybrid, say 2-3 days in the office. But it really depends because if you're working a SOC, internal SOC for a company, you can potentially work kind of hybrid. If you're working for MSSP, you normally are on a shift rotation. So there are companies that run them from their big sort of main SOC, and there are companies that run them remotely. So it really depends, where you are in that kind of spectrum. But yeah, it could be both. And I think sort of more on the junior level is more in person because it helps you to learn once you are against other kind of surrounded by other professionals. It makes your journey better. Once you get further advanced and experience, you get more opportunities to work remotely. Well, it's not free. It's not cold. I mean, London is 9 degrees. Naz, that's nothing. I grew up in Lithuania where you used to get to minus 20, minus 25. That's cold. 9 degrees is pretty warm. In middle of the winter, so that's nothing, Naz, I would say. But again, I guess it depends what you're used to. My girlfriend always says, that she's like, she's not, she was not built for cold weather. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But Linguisi, join the Telegram. I always say, I think you have to understand the reasons what you're doing for and why you want to get into cybersecurity. It's not necessarily just for for money, but if you get passion, determination, you have to understand. I always say, cybersecurity was the best decision I made in my life 10 years ago. I never looked back. Every single day that I worked in cybersecurity has been a pleasure, and it offered tremendous opportunities. Not only about money, but development, recognition, and all of that comes with it. So that journey is definitely worth it. But you need to put in a lot of hard work and graft because landing a job is hard. The first year or two in cybersecurity career is even harder because you're going to learn a lot. But then stuff will get easier. Yeah, that's what I thought, Naz. I thought, you're probably not UK native. Therefore, for you, York might be feeling cold if you grew up somewhere in hot weather in Africa. Then, yeah, of course. The link is in. Just have a look through the videos. I posted the video, I think yesterday, Lungusi, in my bio. So have a look. There is a link in one of the videos in the description. You're gonna find the link. Yeah, and that's definitely, as I say, I don't remember the video. I don't want to disrupt this. Let me see if I can actually find quickly without making too much noise. I don't remember which video, but I'll tell you. Where is the description? It's not this one. I'm gonna find you guys 2 seconds. Let me just. Not this one. Not this one. I'll tell you which one it is. Let me find the video. There's somewhere I put in the description in one of the videos, so I'm gonna tell you guys in a sec. Just bear with me. It's not that one. No, not that one. There you go. So if you go on to my videos, I dropped a video this morning saying another cybersecurity live stream tonight. In that description, there is a link to the Telegram community. There's a video from this morning. So if you find that video in my bio, you can join and use the link. It depends really on what you prefer, Sakanian GUI or core command line. I like GUI for visualization. I would say it depends on your goals, and if you are cool and you already know how to use command line, I would say go with GUI, because then you can play around with it more. What's your take on Professor? Do you mean Professor Messer, not Mayer? I don't really know him personally, but I think he does a god's honest work in terms of providing all of the free materials on YouTube on A+, Network Plus, Sec Plus. So it's a great stuff, and he's quite funny the way sometimes he explains stuff. But yeah, so if you work if you like working in terminal, then stick to terminal. Surely, it's no brainer for that. You know one thing about me, I don't like to be much around people, and in cybersecurity you have to do that. Well, not necessarily, not always. I've been working remotely for the last 3 years, so I'm not hanging around people. I just go to but I like to hang around cybersecurity people, because that's the way you learn Sec Plus. Learning from others around and building networks has been the best thing that I could have done in my career, because all of the other people had so much knowledge, who'd been there longer, who'd done things that I haven't done. That's the way to learn. I was just thinking that I would miss something. No, you ain't going to miss anything with GUI, but GUI is cool for, visualizing and looking at the tag graphs and looking at patterns, I guess, because it's harder to do that from command line. But yeah. I've already, Lugusi says, I've already started documenting on my LinkedIn, like you said. Yeah, great stuff. Guys, LinkedIn is an amazing tool that's going to bring you loads of success. Hi, Shubham. So, yeah. Sit next to people so much. Yeah, you can work remotely, but, I would say working remotely in the beginning of your career is at your disadvantage, Sec Plus. You want to be around people, because that's the best way to learn. Once you learn, and have enough experience, then you can, do remote work. But, I really think, in the beginning of your career, the more interactions you're going to have, the quicker and the better knowledge you are going to be able to gain. So, yeah. Cool, guys. I'm gonna have to jump in a minute, so I'm probably gonna have some time. So I'm probably gonna drop another event and probably do another hour tomorrow. As I said, there is a video this morning about this live that has a Telegram link. So if you guys want to join the Telegram, check out the video on TikTok. I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. Have a wonderful evening. It was a pleasure to hang out with you. As I said, there's probably another event tomorrow. Check out my YouTube. If you want, follow me on LinkedIn, because obviously every single platform I post differently stuff. So LinkedIn is all about cybersecurity leadership. YouTube is a mixture of obviously long form videos, and TikTok is all the short and information. And I'm trying to help you guys on, early in your cybersecurity journey. But yeah, have a wonderful evening or wherever you are, and I'll catch you tomorrow, guys.